This is the Undefeated Sports Network. Court, and court is in session.
What's up, everybody, and welcome into a very special episode of Sport Court right here on the Undefeated Sports Network. As always, I'm your guy, Andrew Tarbill. To my left is the man, the myth, the legend, Angelo Ace Camacho, and down
Hold
beneath,
Hold your applause.
you can't see his name, we got our guy Vince Turtlemucci in the house tonight to talk about some wrestling. And we got a new guest, new member of the team here joining us this evening, guys. So we got our guy Kev. It looks like he's setting up here in the green room, so we'll give him a couple minutes and we'll bring him in when he is ready. But what's up, fellas? WrestleMania coming up tomorrow, big night. Obviously, Vince, I know you're excited. I know you live for this event, right? Like every year, it's
definitely one of those. Well, I guess it used to be one of those special nights, but now it's a special two-night event. It's kind of cool. It's split over the two nights. Get to see two different main events. So I'm excited.
It's better than having to sit through 12 hours of wrestling like the last single night WrestleMania. I think it was like fucking 9 hours.
Right, it's just so long. It's just so long. You lose interest before you get to the best matches.
Right, and it was definitely long. And now 2 nights gives you a good 4 hours each night, and it kind of keeps the weekend going, and it's more fun, you know.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those cool feelings too, because it's you had all the events last year, but this is like I feel like this is like that first real like Triple H WrestleMania.
Yeah. I agree.
Oh, for sure. That was going to be what I wanted to allude to now with Triple H having full control completely this year of the organization. How does WrestleMania play out? Does it look different under Hunter's control than it did under the control of Vince in years past? And we'll get into that a little bit more, but it looks like Kev's ready to join us, so let's go ahead and bring Kev in.
What's up, guys?
How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How are you guys?
Not bad. I heard, so everybody, for those of you that don't know, this is Kevin. He's going to be joining us to handle our wrestling shows going forward. So this is kind of getting his feet wet and jumping into the deep end, and we're gonna just start by hitting what better topic than WrestleMania.
Couldn't think of a better way to start.
So let's jump right into the first topic.
All right, guys. First topic at hand. Bianca versus Asuka. I totally butchered her name. That's all right.
It's all right. It's all right, Tar. Right. Look, your expertise is in other areas, and that's okay. We appreciate how far you've come.
Yeah, I mean, at least you're talking wrestling. I remember the very first time we did one of these.
I am doing my best. I'll tell you.
And you haven't made a Stone Cold reference yet, so
not yet. So.
Give me about 4 more minutes, and I'll be Stone Cold Stunner.
We're ahead of where we were last year, so
we're making progress.
That's right. So, Asuka, Bianca. Oh, we can't do that layout because we lose everybody there. All right, well. This match, man, they've been building it for a minute. We kind of knew that it was going to be Asuka going into Royal Rumble. I'm not as hyped for this match as they tried to get us hyped for. I feel like the lead into this match was subpar. It kind of felt like an afterthought, in my opinion. Now you're looking at somebody in Asuka who's one of the best female performers that the WWE has had for the last 5-6 years, and it's going to be nice to see her back in the spotlight of WrestleMania in the solo role.
Yeah, I think we've seen her kind of all over the place, and now we see her back under with Triple H in control. We see her get kind of that spotlight that she deserves. I think that there's been no lead up to this match. I think when they kind of game plan for it, I think how else do you cool off Bianca Belair, who was basically the hottest woman they had in professional wrestling today? How else do you cool her down, but kind of make everybody forget that she's even there?
Right.
I think this is going to be one of those quiet kind of hand over the belt type matches. I think Asuka comes away with it. And I think they kind of just don't want to tarnish Bianca because she's still such a primetime player for the WWE, but they had to do something to cool her off.
In my opinion, and this is just me, I know that there's a lot of people who will disagree with me. I think Bianca is kind of boring, if I'm being honest.
I mean, she's got like 7 moves.
Right. She's like the John Cena or the Hulk Hogan of the women's division. She's super fucking strong. So like,
wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on.
Do we lose you?
No, you can't take the Hulk Hogan's name in vain. What are you doing? On a WrestleMania show?
It's all the same thing. Hulk got like 5 moves.
That's right. Him and John Cena, the 5 moves of doom.
Right.
It's
that was. I just have to say, real quick, one of the funniest things I've ever seen was Shawn Michaels' impression of Hulk Hogan when they did that whole skit.
That was
for
good.
SummerSlam. It was one of the best.
I think the one good thing that could come out of it, I like that they repackaged Asuka. I love it. The serious, more physical Asuka versus that happy-go-lucky, just kind of bubbly there Asuka. Kev, what do you think about this match and the kind of lack of lead up to it?
Honestly, I think that the WrestleMania card is just so stacked right now that the match kind of just gets buried in there. You almost don't even know it's there. Like, it's just, there's so many good matches there. Like, it's Asuka and Bianca have just been looked over. I don't think that they've even had that much, airtime in the past couple of weeks building up to Mania. They've had, I think, maybe 1 or 2 segments together, which to me is it's not much. And to be honest, they're trying to bring back that Asuka of old. That's exactly why I think that Bianca would drop those titles.
This screams night 2 opening match.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I was
right.
Yeah.
Like, because they're gonna have Rhea and Charlotte, I believe, are gonna be the main event of night 1. If I read that correctly,
I think it's gonna be the Usos.
Oh, you think so?
And Sami Zayn and KO. Okay. I think they haven't. I don't even know if they haven't decided yet. I think they're. But it's going to be one of those 2 matches.
Right.
For sure.
Right. I mean, I just think night 1 is a good spot for them. I think.
And you don't want both women's title matches on the same night 1.
Right.
I have a feeling that Uso match is going to be the final match tomorrow night because if anyone, I know a lot of you guys said you missed SmackDown, but they did say we'll see you guys tomorrow night when they were having their little promo thing together. So.
Yeah, the card itself is kind of tricky to figure out now that it's 2 nights. I don't think they're going to have the Bloodline lose the titles all in one night.
Right.
You lose the titles the first night for the tag team, and now you're putting the pressure on Reigns, and you can kind of play that throughout the whole day 2.
Right.
But I think this match, I mean, it's either going to be night 1 opener or night 2 opener.
No, night 1 opener is
it's John Cena.
Yeah, Cena in theory.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You can't see me.
But the Bianca match is on Sunday night. They did say that's next.
Yeah, I think you're dead on. I think it screams early night 2.
Yeah. I just think they'd put it in the open just so they're not disrespecting them or whatever. But.
And I think part of it too, some of the card hasn't gotten the attention it deserves, or probably that they had planned on it because it took so long to get. It was crazy because you had everybody was screaming Cody Rhodes. Then Sami Zayn became so hot that it naturally cooled off Cody Rhodes, and you had to wait for that transition to then build up Cody again. It took up so much airtime that
and it almost is like it was counterproductive to me.
Yeah, and
when we get to that, I didn't even make a promo for the Uso and Zayn match now, and I'm completely feeling like an idiot. But we could talk about that match when we get down to the Roman and Cody match.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
I just there's some things about the whole situation that I personally would have done a little bit differently.
Yeah.
All right, fellas. So who takes this match?
Asuka.
Yeah, I think it's a change of titles. I think Asuka takes it.
Yeah,
I think that this is going to be a WrestleMania that we're going to see a lot of titles change hands.
I agree.
I really do.
And if you do it in the right way, that's not necessarily a bad thing,
exactly
right?
Right. No, for
100%.
sure. As long as it's not forced.
Like WrestleMania from the last few years that I've realized, it's really giving the fans the payoffs they want.
Yeah.
Now,
Yep.
you know, Vince and whoever runs creative might jerk around with the fans throughout the year at pay-per-views, but they've been, at least the last 2 years, have been really good at giving the fans the payoff that they want, not that's best for business, because I think they realize they'll give the payoff at WrestleMania. They can switch it real quick right afterwards.
Right.
Give the fans that moment. So I think Kevin's right. I think it's going to be a lot of title changes this weekend.
Okay, let's jump right into our next topic then, fellas. With that being said, we got Seth Rollins and Logan Paul. The man behind the Prime Energy drink.
Seth freaking Rollins. Okay.
Sorry, I forgot the freaking in there.
That's right. That's right.
I'm doing my best, Ace. All right.
No, it's all good. Now this match,
the build-up's been great. Dude.
The build-up's been really, really well done. I feel like Seth deserves better than Logan Paul, especially if this is Paul's last match. I just think Rollins, he's done too much for the company as a whole to be just thrown into this match. It feels a lot to me like Sami Zayn Jackass a little bit. I mean, obviously Logan Paul's wrestled a little bit more, but I just feel like they just didn't have an idea of what to do with either of them, so they threw them together.
So this is the last match on Paul's rookie contract, so to speak.
Right.
But before we go into the details of the match, do you guys think that Paul steps away from the ring after this, or the WWE tries to ink him for a longer-term deal? He was obviously doing the commentator, broadcasting type role before he got into actually performing in matches. So what do you guys think happens there? Do you think he's a piece of this company moving forward, or what direction will they take?
He always talks about how he wants to only show up in big money matches, making big money.
Right.
You know, a couple weeks ago, he was brought on to Raw, and Seth Rollins says, "Why don't we just have a match right here, right now?" And he goes, "Are you kidding me? No, if we're going to have this match, it's got to be at the grandest stage of them all." Honestly, you know, and then he was saying to the crowd and everything, you know, "You guys don't even want me here, so, you know, Mania might be my last match, and, you know, whatever. And I honestly think that, he's going to walk away for a while. I don't think that this is going to be like a long-term thing for him. WWE might try to chalk him in or try to like get him to stay, but I just don't see it. I
don't see it being something like a Ronda Rousey, right? Where like at least Ronda's performing during the weeks and stuff like that leading up to some of these pay-per-views. I think he takes some time off. You probably see him again around SummerSlam if he comes back.
Think, he'll turn out to be one of those guys they bring out every once in a while for, a match that
Royal Rumbles.
Yeah, Royal Rumbles matches that because the dude is extremely athletic.
Yeah.
He's great in the ring, way better than anybody thought he would be. So I think you bring him out every once in a while, let him hit a big spot, something like that. I just don't see him being a guy that A, is on a weekly show, and B, is traveling around to these house shows and all these different things. And for it to be ever where he's going to be a big part of it, that would have to be it, because that's how you build towards things,
storylines
and everything else. So I just don't ever see him being that involved.
He's out there making energy drinks and
Gatorade
clones.
I love that Prime though. That Prime is banging.
That Prime is good. It's better than Gatorade.
Too. I don't know if I just fell into the.
I didn't even know that it was. I didn't even know that it was his.
I didn't either until I was drinking it, and then my kid of all people, my 9-year-old, goes, "Dad, did you know that that's Logan Paul's drink?" And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's his drink. He made it." And I was like, "Oh, well, now I don't even want to
He's
drink
the
it anymore.
co-founder, right?
That was like I was at work.
KSI owns
One of the
the
high
other
schools at
half,
work
but-
was like, "Oh yeah, I don't like this. I don't like this. Yeah. Oh no, I really like. I just can't get into Logan Paul." And I was like, "Wait, what's Logan Paul to do with Prime?"
Yep.
No, I didn't know he was anything to do with Prime either until a couple weeks ago when he had that promo and he's like, I only like 2 people in this arena, my dad and that kid holding the Prime.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
like, I started laughing. I thought it
He-
was cool. Whatever.
He hypes it all the time on his podcasts, and I see
Yeah.
clips of that all the time, so that's how I knew about it. But back to the topic at hand. How does this match go, fellas?
I mean, I think. Sorry,
Go ahead.
Ace.
No, you go ahead, Turtle.
I think the only way this match can go is Seth has to get a win. Like, I think Ace hit it best. Like, Seth has done so much for the company, and you know.
Yeah, but how many times have they put Seth in this situation?
To carry a match. I mean,
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
so the difference is, I think, in a lot of those is that Seth is going up against somebody that's going to be around afterwards. So by Seth losing and then putting him over, I think
true. Yeah,
I think that they're still building other guys, and Seth is not losing any credibility. Now, I think he wins this match because I don't see how his character can develop anything really if he loses. You know what I mean? The best thing for him is to get the win. Logan Paul leaves for a little while, and that's just kind of how it is. But
I honestly think we'll see Logan Paul again around SummerSlam.
I do
if they're
too.
if they're gonna bring him back, it's gonna be sometime like around August.
Because I think the worst thing that happened, and this is just my opinion, by him being as good as he was in the ring, if AEW wanted to, they could be like, hey, here's a ton of money, come wrestle with us to get some eyes. I don't think WWE wants that, so I feel like they're going to just sign him to these like celebrity deals where it's kind of like a non-compete. Like, yeah, you'll come around for SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, maybe Survivor Series, WrestleMania, that type of stuff. And
So-
go ahead.
So you bring up an interesting point there, Ace.
Yeah.
And something we'll obviously touch in later in the show when we're talking specifically about Cody Rhodes. AEW has the money to throw it at big names, right?
Right.
So they could very easily try to entice Logan Paul into coming over just for the, I don't want to say the credibility boost, right? But the
Just the
celebrity
views.
that
Right,
he
the
has
celebrity-
just for
right.
views.
Right.
And that's something that frustrates me as a casual fan of wrestling, that would be on the table just to kind of stick it to the WWE. Like, let's throw tons of money at a guy who's not necessarily the most technically sound wrestler, and Vince did say it, and I agree, he outlasted expectations for sure thus far, but are you really going to throw millions of dollars at a guy like Logan Paul just to take him away from the WWE? That doesn't make sense.
No.
Or
I
vice
mean,
versa.
I think Seth wins this match, unless there's some like goofy stuff with his brother getting involved. Then possibly Seth
And
loses.
that's what I was gonna say. I think there might be a possibility.
Yeah, I could see something like that happening, but
I just
then
think,
where do you go from there? You know what I mean?
right. I think they owe it to Seth.
We got a comment here from Ryan in the chat, guys. I hate Logan, but give that dude credit. He came in and took it seriously. That dude is a wrestler.
He does have in-ring skill.
I will say the
mean-
match against Roman Reigns far surpassed my expectations of anything I thought I would ever see this guy do. So, like, I give him that. And, you know, he had a couple matches before that with The Miz, but...
You can't, bring up Paul without, bringing up that moment with him and Ricochet back at the Rumble.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. All
Right.
that stuff.
I just don't know if he's obviously not the total package, right?
Right.
He's not good on the mic, so there's only so far you can push
Right.
dude if he was to stick around.
Right, yeah.
You know, but
I just think, like, when it comes down to it, I think they owe it to Seth. I think the build up, the momentum behind Seth for a win, like, I just don't see how this ends with especially because, like, every week you're seeing, Seth get knocked out and all these things. Like, Usually it's one of those, Triple H is an old school guy.
Right.
He kind of sticks to the pattern. Usually when you see that week after week after week, it means the guy getting knocked out is going to win.
Right. Usually.
Okay.
Usually. And if he doesn't, then maybe
like that.
To say.
Remind me when we get to the Rhodes and Reigns about what Turtle said about Triple H being old school.
Yeah.
So, you guys want to get into
Triple
one
H
of
has
my...
been.
You want to get into one of my
around a long
favorite and most excited matches right here? Ready?
I would love to, Ace.
Boom.
Oh,
Ray
dude.
versus Dominic.
I'm going to be a kid in a candy store with this one, man.
Let me tell you this. Dominic Mysterio's character is the best character development right now in the WWE. It is fantastic. He plays his role as a douche so well.
He really does.
The ex-con Don, because he spent 2 hours in booking in jail.
Right.
It's pure genius. It reminds me so much of old school Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's exactly what they were going for, right? But I just love it because it keeps getting better every week. I look forward to it.
And at first, Rhea's whole character just helps boost that character so much.
Yep. And Rhea, oh my goodness. We'll talk about her a little bit later. But
we will. So I want to say this, and Ace, I think you already know where I'm going before I even get there in this regard. The build-up was hilarious.
Oh, yeah, we talked about this already.
The fact that he's going over and beating his dad up on Christmas and, just showing up at the house, terrorizing him, Bam Margera.
Ruining the Valentine's dinner between him and his mom. Come on.
That's what it reminded me of, the old episodes of Viva La Bam, where Bam Margera would just kick in his parents' door and just start beating the shit out of Phil for no reason. That was the vibe that I got from that. And I loved the build-up. It was kind of comical to me in that aspect, and I enjoyed it. What kills me is the thing that set this entire scale over and made the scales tip was him telling his mom to shut up.
The thing that really sent Ray over the edge.
Right.
Oh my God!
You've been beating your dad up for 6 months at random, just popping into the house and getting
so
into
much
it
about his
and
pride,
all
he
it
wasn't
takes
going to
for
hit
him
his
to.
son.
So I feel like, on this show, in this network, we usually are pretty in line with each other.
Yep, I agree.
I have to say, this match I could literally care less about.
I mean, I don't really care about it either.
I thought the buildup was slow and a waste of time. And I think this match I think Dominic is horrible in the ring.
That I agree with, 100%.
And I'm just over the whole thing.
So,
whoa. All right.
We'll
I agree 100%
opinion
with you that this was built so slow. Everybody knew.
I'm right.
The
Everybody
moment
knew
that
what
they
was going to
lost
happen.
the tag team titles, that Dominic was going to fight him at WrestleMania. Everybody knew that that's what they wanted.
I think even way before that, years before that, they knew that Dom was going to come to WWE eventually, and these two were going to have a feud. It's been kind of almost there for a while.
You're right.
So, blockbuster surprise plot twist. Dom wins this match. He pulls out an envelope. Paternity test results. Ray, you are not my father.
No, they got to have Maury come out and do it, man. That would set WrestleMania.
The custody of Dominic ladder match is one of the best matches of all time, guys.
So
I'm sorry.
I do not want to ruin SmackDown for anybody tonight, but I feel like what they showed tonight on SmackDown is building up to another possible match between Ray and the Judgment Day.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
They had a moment there with a certain group, or Ray had a moment with a certain group of people backstage, and it just, to me, I honestly thought this might have been the retirement match, but after what I saw on SmackDown, maybe not.
So just to touch on that, I saw a quote earlier today, and I had to send it to my wife so she could see it, because we both were like, well, I guess I get it. It's probably his final WrestleMania. He wants to fight his son. So the build-up sucks, everything, but at least it's Ray. So Ray said that they asked about Hall of Fame. He said the Hall of Fame, I feel, is like when you're at the end of your career, or you're about to retire, and I don't feel like I'm at either one of those. He said there is a number for me, but I feel like that number is 50.
Yep.
So it less like this is just one of those just total say the opposite of what's really going on. It doesn't sound like Ray plans on retiring anytime soon.
And I seen the moment that Kev is talking about. I agreed. I think this sets up a Judgment Day,
Ray's new group.
Right, at SummerSlam type of stuff, or Backlash maybe even.
Yeah, it'll probably be because they have that WrestleMania Backlash pay-per-view now. So it'll probably be at that one, or at least building towards it. I just feel
because
like
at the end of Edge and Finn's done. This is it, right?
Right.
So I feel like that leads into a good ability for those.
Yeah, and they have to do something because I just feel like the Judgment Day, like it just not that it lost momentum, it kind of lost direction. Like it was such a prominent thing, and they had to put so much into getting Dominic over as his heel and everything. Like I just feel like it kind of took away from the group
I also
in general.
think though the Edge like leaving and coming back all the times feuding with Finn. Any momentum that they would try to build would stop automatically because they're building that match at WrestleMania. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and I feel bad for Damian Priest. Dude ain't got nothing going on at WrestleMania.
Nothing going on.
He'll be in Dom's corner, I would assume.
Right.
I was thinking, this match might not even end. Honestly.
We can't hear you, Kev.
Your thing's a little spacey, but I don't know. I was excited to see the development on SmackDown because the new group is an old group that I was really into when I was a kid. But
it's like almost a rebuild there.
Right. It's kind of like what they used to do with the Four Horsemen, right? Every time that a couple of the guys in the Horsemen would get old, they would build a whole new Horseman. 4 new guys. This is kind of that same thing, the new version of this, which I don't hate.
So going back to Rey Mysterio and Ace, I've told you this story a couple different times, but Vince, for me, man, the first wrestling match I remember watching like vividly from start to finish was the Halloween Havoc match between Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero. That was
a hell of a match.
That was the turning point for me as a wrestling fan, being like only 5 or 6 years old at the time. I mean, that was like the first match that I can recollect from start to finish.
Right.
And to me, I always hold Ray to that standard. Obviously, this many years later, he's getting older, and obviously body wears, you're not the same guy you were 30 years ago, 20 years ago. But I think this match will be interesting to say the least. Who wins this match? Does Dom win this match? He almost has to, right?
I think Ray wins by disqualification.
I think Dom's got. I mean, so I would say if this was a one and done, and there's no build up to anything else, then I think I could see Ray winning. Maybe. Then I think Dom has to win. But I think because there's such a high probability of this just being a build up to more. It really could go any way because I just feel like they're going to use this match as to further the story to keep building.
Right.
He's going to be throwing steel chairs at family reunions after this, guys. So, stay tuned.
I don't know if you guys can hear me a little bit better now, but I was trying to say before. I think that it's going to definitely end in an interruption. Like I don't think this is going to end in pinfall or submission. It's Judgment Day or the group we talked about earlier from SmackDown is definitely
or both
an appearance.
Well, right.
It may just turn out, it may just end up in a brawl between.
Like I feel like Damian's going to be at ringside with Dom.
Oh, for sure he will be.
So obviously that's going to start something. I could see this ending in a DQ. Ray wins.
You said that Rhea Charlotte match. That's night 2, right? If that's night,
I don't know. I thought it was night 1.
Rhea Charlotte's night 1.
Oh, okay. So if it's night 1, then she won't be ringside. But I was gonna say if that was night 2, she might even be ringside.
Right. It's night 1.
And,
So sticking with the Judgment Day because they just seem to be taking over WrestleMania this year. we got this match. Now, let me tell you, I love Edge. I was so upset when he had to retire.
Yeah.
And when he got to come back, I was excited. I kind of wish he was going to be able to be the champion at one point, but Roman was just too on fire for anybody else to touch him.
I thought Edge and Finn Balor were the same guy for a period of time.
I got to jump on this train here a little bit. Edge was my favorite wrestler when I was a kid. And I was super stoked when I heard that he was able to come back, return. And I was like, you know what, maybe he can go out on his terms rather than went out. Well, now I'm thinking, the buildup that they've had for him, what they've done for him is almost absolutely nothing. Just loss after loss after loss.
Yeah, and I don't think that this match is going to be any different.
No, because honestly, the only person that needs a win more than Seth Rollins is Finn Balor.
Yeah.
And especially, obviously, we don't know exactly who Triple H is as head of creative.
Right.
I think we have a pretty good idea. I can't see him bringing the demon out
and
to lose.
Yep. That's
the only way you can do that is if was like some young up and coming that you were trying to put over,
right? And
they gained the momentum from beating the demon. I just can't bring it in myself to think Triple H would really bring the demon out to have him lose. Not just bring him out, but bring him out in Hell in a Cell.
Right.
And then have him lose. Edge is going to get the cool entrance. I feel like it's been very reported.
Yes.
So I feel like I'm not spoiling it for anybody. But
I agree.
They've talked about Gangrel being in the entrance for Edge, possibly even in an altercation with Damian Priest. I also heard, and again, I don't know how true it is, but I heard that Tony Khan has given Christian the green light to be in that entrance as well. If Triple H takes that up or not, we'll have to see. But I just can't bring myself to see any scenario where Triple H would really just bring the demon out to lose.
Exactly. You haven't seen that character in 2-3 years.
I mean, and look at who he's lost to. Did that character has only lost to what? Samoa Joe and Roman Reigns?
Wasn't the last
and
time
Seth Rollins
that the demon showed up was against...
Oh, no, he didn't lose to Rollins.
No, the demon showed up against Bray Wyatt, I believe, last time.
The Fiend, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that was it. That was the last time, right? That was 2 years ago.
And the Fiend won, right?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, they built him up way too big. He was, he was taking move after move after move like it was nothing and getting right back up. And I'm like, dude, this is kind of ridiculous, to be honest.
Right. And I don't remember. I know that he beat Seth Rollins, but then he lost to Roman, right? And then he lost to... Who else did he face recently?
No one is the demon.
No one is the demon, but he just hasn't been winning.
No, he's lost every big match he's been in for a while. As what I said, the two people that deserve W's at WrestleMania more than anybody is Seth Rollins and Finn Balor.
Yeah. They've had the company on their back for how long?
Yeah.
And I think if you want to make the Judgment Day a legit thing again, it starts with Finn winning because whether people want to admit it or not, he's obviously the leader of that group, right?
Correct.
So if he just keeps losing, how does that leader keep?
And I also read a while back, and I don't know if it's still, because things change quickly,
right,
in WWE. But I read at one point that Triple H was looking to give Finn Balor a huge push after WrestleMania.
I did read that too.
I did not read that, but it would make sense, right?
Right.
Because here's what I think plays out.
I mean, don't forget the dude was the first Universal Champion ever.
Right, and that was obviously Triple H's push for him, right? I think you're looking at a situation with the Judgment Day. I know we just talked about Rey and Dom, and we're going to talk about Rhea and Charlotte after this one. I don't see any scenario where anybody in Judgment Day loses.
No, and I think that'll be the Raw after WrestleMania promo.
Yep,
because we went 3-0.
Yep, and that's where you're going to be able to propel that group to the next level. You ride that.
Absolutely.
We took care of business at WrestleMania. I went out there and I ended Edge. You don't mess with my demons, blah, 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 blah. and it just projects that group into a whole new sector for the next 6 to 8 months.
Yeah, I kind of almost like feel bad a little bit though, because like to me, the best person in the Judgment Day doesn't have a match.
Damian Priest.
I mean, Damian Priest. I do.
I like Priest too. I just don't think he doesn't seem confident to me when he's out there. That's a whole different like conversation for another show. But like,
I think he's got like I like watching him in the ring. I just don't think he's got a lot of personality, like on the microphone and everything.
Yeah.
You know,
he just like, you know how you can tell when somebody's out there and they're performing and they feel confident about their character, about what they're saying. He just doesn't seem comfortable or confident in what he's doing.
So when you're talking about comfortable and confident, you mean like when Stone Cold used to smash 2 beers on his forehead and spray them all over, right?
At the 35-minute and 54-second mark, we get our first Stone Cold reference. Hey, I'm okay with that.
That's way better than I thought it would be.
Yeah, 35 minutes into the
like, you've really come a long way in a year.
Turtle, this is our 3rd year doing this together.
Yeah, it is the third. That's right.
We did it 1 year for some other entity.
Down the dial.
Yeah, down the dial, right? Like the AEW of everything, right?
But
and
this
then we
is
did it last year
here
and
on
this year.
USN.
That's right, baby. Because the good shows follow me.
Onward and
the
upward.
Wrestling show follows.
Onward and upward.
So no, but
it wouldn't be a wrestling show if I didn't try to cut a heel promo just a little bit, right?
Well, can we talk real quick about when The Rock used to bring a guitar out and sing? Because that was showmanship at its finest.
I'm not gonna lie, I just watched a clip of when The Rock was singing to Vicky Guerrero, and it was so fantastic, and I just could not stop laughing. But back to this match, right? It's Hell in a Cell. Triple H wants to get away from the cell not really meaning anything, so they got rid of the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view so that they can build this match back.
They brought back the old color.
Right, it's not red anymore. It
doesn't look like Angelo's son painted it.
That's right. We talked about this too. Right, and I think that this is going to be a good, hard-hitting Hell in a Cell match that's going to get everybody back into the Hell in a Cell.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see them on the top. I wouldn't be surprised
they're gonna be all over.
We see some crazy stuff like when Undertaker and Edge had theirs, and Undertaker chokeslammed Edge through the ring.
Yeah.
And like I could see a scenario where that's how this happens.
Mm-hmm.
And
real quick, is Taker going to be at WrestleMania?
No.
I mean, he might be there backstage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he might. But I read an article that Taker is never going to be wearing.
No, he said he's done. No, he said he's done with the Dead Man.
Yeah, that's why when he came out
Dead
on
Man
Raw,
character's over.
Right, when he came out on Raw, he was the American Badass, and not the Dead Man. So,
what were you saying, Kev?
I was gonna say, speaking of Taker, he had that little moment with Bray Wyatt a couple months back where he, whispered something to him in the ring, and now they have Bray Wyatt off the card completely and completely vanished. It's like, now how does Undertaker take that after what he said to Bray Wyatt? Because
I think that's another. We could talk about that later too. I think that might be a surprise at some point. I think you might see
WrestleMania.
Yeah,
I was thinking the same thing.
I was reading something that they're for the first time they've gone away from his character they have now, and they're going back to the Fiend.
That's what I read too. And then I was, the only upsetting part about it is they were building up him and Bobby Lashley for the longest time, and they decided to throw Bobby into this 30-man Royal Rumble.
Right.
And left for him to do. And
I
to me,
feel
that's
like
kind of disrespectful a little bit.
I mean, it was just one of those bad timing things.
Yeah.
Like, did you guys ever see that interview that Seth Rollins did about Bray's characters and how it's like so hard to get over against that character? I feel like that wasn't necessarily a lie. I do feel at times it's very difficult to find an avenue after the match to continue building the storyline. You know what I mean?
Well, and it's, if you look at all these things like John Cena in his prime, The Rock in his prime, Triple H, not to compare where they are legacy-wise, but just them in their prime, Goldberg in his WCW prime, a lot of them, Bianca Belair now, when you build somebody up so much, I feel like they lose track of, well, how do you have them lose now?
Right.
So then when it's like, well, when you can't have them lose, it's a very select few people you can have them fight, because you're not going to put them in the ring with Roman Reigns, because that's not good for business. Neither one of them losing is good.
Right.
So I feel like they just have a hard time figuring out how to build programs for The Fiend and for somebody like Bray Wyatt when the crowd is so about them that it's like a loss for them or a loss for their opponent. If it's a high-profile opponent, it really makes it hard to know where to go next.
I think the Fiend character got destroyed 2 years ago at WrestleMania. The fact that they had that match literally take, less than a minute?
Vince McMahon at his finest.
Yeah. You build this character, these two characters between Alexa and the Fiend.
It's funny that you bring this match up, not to cut you off. It's funny you bring this match up. That was like, so my wife, that was like when she first started watching wrestling with me.
Yeah.
And she got into it because I'm into it. But now she likes it. That was like it was definitely her first WrestleMania, but it was like her first big pay-per-view. And she was like, wait, what just happened? Like,
yep.
I've just seen this for the last months. I've seen this build up between the Fiend and Alexa Bliss and how they've made both of them untouchable. And she just turned on them for no reason with no explanation.
Well, we don't even know if she turned on him or what, because they just ended it.
They just ended it.
It was just
this when she was like spewing black ooze and stuff everywhere.
One of the coolest moments in the whole storyline between those two characters.
And then it resulted in Randy
turns around,
winning.
gets RKO'd. That's the end of the match, and you never see it again.
Right. No mention of it.
That's
nothing.
honestly a Vince McMahon thing to do.
Yeah.
Really for sure. It definitely is a Vince McMahon thing to do.
He leaves you with more questions than answers.
Right. Yeah, no, for sure.
Vintage Vince McMahon move.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and move into this next match, though, guys.
Before we do, though, really quickly, do you think this is it for Edge? Like, going forward, what else is there for him?
I mean, I think Edge will be, I don't think he'll be a main time guy. Like, I think he'll just come out every now and then. I know he wants to retire next year in Toronto.
Yep.
So I'm sure that's what WWE will let him do. I think he'll have, like, I almost think he'll go more of like a mid-card type role from now until the time he retires next year.
Maybe even try to build some guys up a little bit.
Yeah.
Would you be surprised if at some point Christian comes back and they run Edge and Christian before Edge retires?
And what's Christian's deal?
I mean,
I don't know how long it is.
I don't either, but anyways, we can that could be a topic for a different show a little bit, in a couple weeks or something like that. But Tarble, before we jump to the last two, why don't we take a quick little break?
Absolutely, guys. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with you in 40 seconds.
I'm undefeated. I came to fight for the love of the game. Unstoppable. That's why I'm undefeated. Off the leash, out of the cage. An animal. That's why I'm undefeated. I know I can beat it. Won't give up, 'cause I believe it. Fight for the love of the game. Unstoppable. That's right. I'm undefeated.
All right, guys, and welcome back to the second annual USN WrestleMania pre-event show. I am Andrew Tarbill. To my left is Angelo Ace Camacho. Our guy Turtle down in the bottom corner, and joining us for the first time.
I was just reading breaking news.
What?
Zero News is reporting that LA Knight is now the odds-on betting favorite to win the 2023 Money in the Bank briefcase.
Is that happening at WrestleMania?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, but they're definitely not going to have him go out and beat Roman Reigns or Cody Rhodes, depending on who takes it.
Right.
I just don't see LA Knight at 42
40,
years?
42 years old, and like, I don't know.
He's getting up there.
Diamond Dallas Page was old too, though, when he.
Yeah.
But if anything, go and give him like a mid card, like a U.S. title, Intercontinental.
Yeah, I think you're more likely to see him with a Intercontinental or U.S. title run than a world title, but I did see my favorite wrestlers at the Hall of Fame induction, which I mean, it's no surprise because he's married to Zelina, but Aleister Black is at the Hall of Fame ceremony. Him and Andrade.
Yeah. Two guys that WWE just dropped.
I miss Black's finish.
So
that
you know Triple H wishes he could have got Aleister Black to stay before if he could have gotten control like just a month earlier.
It would have been Aleister Black.
Undisputed Era, without a doubt. Right.
Ciampa.
Yeah. Ciampa, all them
probably
guys.
would have kept Samoa Joe.
Right.
Dude, honestly, that's where they dropped the ball. Samoa Joe and Ciampa, and then
what I think happened there was they had Solo, and they were like, these two characters are almost identical.
Oh, what a feud that would have been!
Yeah, it would have been like a passing of the torch.
Well, I know. So, like, I was reading some stuff, and they say that when Triple H had his heart incident, that Vince McMahon and then they basically went into NXT and just tore it to shreds.
Yeah,
and the people that were there were like, they knew when they did it that there was no way they were going to stay.
So Andrade is the one that's married to Ric Flair's daughter, right?
Charlotte, correct.
Charlotte.
And speaking of...
Hold on, Turbo, are you using this as a transition into our next
Beautiful.
Match? I love it.
I am trying to.
Beautiful.
Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Love it. I love it.
I just want to say, as a longtime fan of the Nature Boy, his last match with Andrade and Jay Lethal tarnished the legacy, boys.
Without a doubt, his legacy
opinion.
was tarnished the moment he wrestled after the Shawn Michaels.
Do you want to know a random fact? I have yet to watch that match, and I refuse to do it.
Ric Flair's last match?
Yeah.
You really shouldn't. It was.
I did not watch it.
I haven't watched, and I refuse to. It's not how I want to remember.
Not his last match. His last match was at WrestleMania versus Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels,
that was his last match.
Sorry, Taro. The floor is yours. Transition away.
But now we're on the Flair topic.
Da-da-da.
Dun, dun.
Oh my God!
We got Charlotte Flair
beautiful
and Rhea Ripley.
Speaking of beautiful, let me just
funny.
say this.
Go ahead.
Rhea Ripley, by far, the best female superstar in the WWE right now, without a doubt. Total package.
I don't know if
Start
I'm
calling
willing
her
to
Lex
say,
Luger.
I don't know if I'm willing to say she's the best they have.
Her build up right now is crazy though.
But her build up is crazy.
It's almost as big as what they had going for Sami Zayn, and then they tore that down real quick. They better not do that for her. Dude.
It's kind of wild, right? How those two characters, Dom and her, just all of a sudden, because they were like paired together after she had Dom turn on Ray, like just catapulted those two.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
She changed Dom's career, dude.
Right. Definitely.
I think that this Judgment Day changed for the better her career, because her career was in a very similar spot.
She was very stagnant.
Yes, without a doubt. And there was a good probability she'd be one of the people like Mandy Rose,
right,
who went back down to NXT, but now because
or left altogether. Right.
I think right now I think Rhea is the hottest woman, not looks wise.
No, I know what you mean.
Storyline wise in the WWE,
momentum,
right
everything.
Right. She's got it. All the momentum is in her corner. This is in my opinion, a clear, hey, Rhea's gonna win this.
Yeah, it's definitely a passing of the torch. She, I thought the last time through, and of course, we've could speak on it to death, but the difference between a Vince McMahon led regime and Triple H, creative wise. I think Triple H is trying to make a lot of wrongs right. And, the last time through, Rhea kind of was half-assed through the title and everything. So I think this time you'll see a long run, maybe even a Bianca Belair type run with Rhea.
And they keep bringing up the fact of the past, too, of like, what was it, 2021 when they had that title match? And Charlotte, she pretty much dominated Rhea. Made it look like, she wasn't worth even a challenge to her.
Right.
And, now, I think the buildup is, Rhea's ready. It's time. It's her time now. And again, I think Charlotte's going to end up taking some more time off. She's already a 14-time champion.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame that, you had to do it this way because A, Charlotte has the title, and B, you've already done the Bianca Rhea thing to death.
Yeah.
But it was kind of unfortunate the way it turned out, but it would have, they keep trying to shove this match down our throats like a total hype match, but we would have rather see the Bianca and Asuka match get the hype that this match has gotten, because I think we all know, like, this is a clear cut. Rhea's going to win, passing the torch, redo that whole title run.
I think that this match, to me, is a good sign for the Judgment Day, like we talked. The amount that they're pushing this match is only good things for her and the Judgment Day. But after, obviously, she wins, she's going to be SmackDown now, right? Right. So that means that the Judgment Day is going to be moved to SmackDown, right? That's how they're going to keep this feud with Rey and all that stuff.
And all the cards lead up.
So everything falls in line here now, right? Rey left Raw to get away from Tom. Now Rhea's going to win this title, which is going to pull the Judgment Day to SmackDown, which is good, because I think with Reigns leaving, that's going to open up the door for a lot of great opportunities, especially once they split the titles for some guys on SmackDown. But yeah, there's at least in my opinion, other people might think differently, but I don't think there's any shot that Rhea loses this match.
No, there's zero.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here.
No, you can't even play devil's advocate on this. WWE has left you no.
I want to hear him try. Let's try it out.
So, as Kev alluded to, Charlotte Flair, a 14-time champion, right?
Yep.
Obviously, the legacy, the bloodline that she follows, she's part of.
What you did there. Look at you.
She's part of Wrestling Gold, obviously being the Nature Boy's daughter. So, does that play into the effect of this match? I mean, does she get a chance to win just because she's a Flair?
No,
and because of her accomplishments.
That's her flair, right there. That's literally.
Just remember, there's more than one royal family in wrestling.
Right. Well, that would have been nice for a little segue there to the next.
I tried to set it up.
I did use the term bloodline.
Yep. I think Charlotte came back at a weird time. It's clear that for me it's clear that she's kind of past it now, right? Like, she's there, but she's not. There's other women that are coming up that are better than her, that are going to take her
She
spot.
came back just to win the title so she could lose it.
Right.
Her reign is top dog.
What happened to Alexa Bliss? That's what I want to know.
So she actually
She's
had
hanging out with Bray Wyatt
cancer or something removed from her face.
Yeah.
And then she was on The Masked Singer. Spoiler. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
It's not a spoiler. She's already been.
She's been unmasked, days.
Right.
It's not a spoiler anymore.
Yeah,
but
so.
I mean, for those of our loyal viewers that are going to go watch The Masked Singer, I mean, nobody watches The Masked Singer.
I mean, that's true. I've also heard though that nobody wanted to see a wrestling podcast, but we've had some pretty solid views.
I also remember somebody saying that there's more than one royal family in wrestling.
Oh my God.
With that being said,
you're 100% right.
Let's move into the hot topic of the evening.
What'd you say, Kev?
Nothing. You guys are good. Go ahead.
Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes. Obviously,
if you ask me. Sorry.
No,
obviously,
it was one of those weird things. Sami Zayn took it over.
Yeah, it was. Honestly, that's who should have been. This should be the match right now. Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns.
The only problem
I wanted.
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead, Jarvis. Go ahead.
I wanted to bring this up earlier because this is something that I have an opinion on, and reading articles throughout the week. You know, obviously Cody Rhodes, when he left AEW to come back to the WWE, they could have done more to keep him as the face of the AEW. He comes over to the WWE, and now he's kind of skyrocketed up to this position that he's in. I mean, obviously there's been the build-up, as there has to be, but he's really a face of the WWE at this point.
Yeah, I mean...
Which is so wild to me.
The whole thing is like one of those crazy, just fans took over the storylines of wrestling. It happens every once in a great while, where you have no choice but to give them what they want. And this match, you know, in a perfect world, if you had to, you know, like we always like to say on this network, if you gave so-and-so, so we'll use Triple H, if you gave Triple H Truth Serum, he'd tell you that in a perfect world, night one of WrestleMania, Roman Reigns would be fighting, or I'm sorry, Cody Rhodes would be going for enter title here, and on night 2, you'd have Roman Reigns defending the other title against The Rock.
So,
without a doubt.
You
So
know,
the
but
questions
obviously
that
that didn't happen. Sorry, go ahead.
the question that I wanted to ask you guys, twofold. First, does the AEW regret letting Cody Rhodes walk and come back to the WWE?
I mean, there
One.
wasn't much they could have done about it. They could have offered him all the money in the world. At that point, there was nowhere else for him to go
I
but
feel like
WWE.
Day one of him signing his AEW contract, I feel like Tony Khan knew in the back of his mind at some point he was going to end up back where he started.
He had to, because
his legacy is there. He had
right. There's too much with the legacy, too much with his father, too much with the Rhodes being a world champion in WWE, like all that stuff put together. There was nowhere else for him to go. But eventually, like Kev said, eventually he had to go back to WWE.
But if we're talking about Rhodes' legacy, like Dusty was known for jumping all over the place. He went to WCW and had a solid run. He went to TNA when TNA was a thing. Like, I think it's just in that family. They're just like, yo, we just love wrestling.
Well, and it's like, you know, the old Cody Rhodes character in WWE was boring.
Yeah.
You know,
Stardust.
Right. His regular character, his dashing Cody Rhodes, his Stardust, like all these characters were just never anything that anybody cared about.
That's honestly, if you ask me, I think they tried to make like his brother, but like a 2.0 version. And it didn't
right. And that's what they did. And when he went to AEW and, you know, all over the world, like he made this character. And
he made the American Nightmare a character.
Right.
And sometimes that's what happened.
And you saw when he came back to WWE, the best thing they had for him, they paired him up against Seth Rollins, who Seth Rollins could put a 5-star match on with a freaking mop. Like, the dude is just that good. So when you get two guys that are just good in-ring workers, this is what's going to happen. And now he's got a cool character. He has a badass entrance. He has a badass entrance song.
Now people are paying attention to the history of his family. So
yo, I'll tell you what, my wife, she gets me tickets all the time whenever WWE's around here. We went up to Rockford. I sent you guys the pictures. We went up to Rockford for the WrestleMania Road to WrestleMania show, and it was, bro, Cody Rhodes came out to a house show, and you got everybody singing his entrance song. Like, everybody is so hot about this dude. And then for the way that he came back, won the Royal Rumble, then tore his pec, then wrestled with the torn pec. Like, I was at Hell in a Cell when he fought Seth Rollins. That motherfucker was hurt. He was hurt. And he went out there and put on a hell of a show. And just to hear him talk, and like, so we heard him talk after Hell in a Cell, obviously not on camera. And then we heard him talk after the house show. Like, the dude just is really easy to root for.
Yeah.
And he's just is what WWE needed right at the right time. You know, if he had come back right now, maybe it's not such a big deal. But he came back at one of the slowest points of WWE. There was nobody else to root for. Like, this was the dude that everybody wanted. So now, like, they boxed themselves into a corner. This had to be the WrestleMania match. He had to be fighting for a title at WrestleMania. There was no other option.
I agree with that, but I do think they missed a major opportunity to have a triple threat match at WrestleMania. I think you could have had Sami Zayn, even after losing.
I agree.
To Reigns, you bring him in to this match. He's still just as hot because you don't kill it by making him chase around the Usos afterwards, and then cry to Cody about, I don't know if I can do it, blah blah blah. Like, you killed Sami Zayn's momentum, and they did that on purpose because they didn't want that to interfere with this match. But I do think that they missed on capitalizing by making this a triple threat match with how hot Sami Zayn was. I think you could have built up a match and believably, Sammy could have
We're almost done.
lost to either of those guys and been fine.
Yeah, but I think
So
for this whole story, like they keep referring to the last chapter, to rewriting history. Like it's all about he has to beat Roman Reigns. If he
Right.
beats Sami Zayn for the title, then all it is well, yeah, but you beat Sammy for the title. Like you didn't beat anybody. Like
Right.
for him to be taken as this for the first time in his life, a headliner of WWE, the face of WWE, he has to beat the unbeatable.
And this is like what you said. Remember when you said Triple H has that old school mentality? So they built this match old school to a T. They didn't touch. They didn't even bump into each other. They had a few minor interactions in the ring, doing promo work. That was it. They did not get physical at all. Roman didn't fight anybody.
Right.
And Rhodes was fighting anybody's.
Right.
Right? Because you wanted to build Rhodes as, oh, well, look at the momentum he's on going into WrestleMania. I think overall this match is going to be a fantastic match. I think there's nothing between these two guys that makes me think that the performance in the ring won't be something great. I'm just not sure. Like, I know Cody's going to win, right? Like, that's just the way it is. Because Reigns he's taking a break after this, I read. So, like, which he deserves. He's carried the company for 3 years on his back.
Right.
So do we get to see some blood in this match, guys?
I wish. Because I'm all for blood.
Do we see
wrestling,
blood? Do we see blood
like
at all in WrestleMania?
I maybe on accident, but I would love to see some blood in this match because I believe that wrestling is an art form, right? And
it's telling a story.
It just adds a little bit. You can't do it all the time.
No, you can't be John Moxley.
Right. If you're in a match, right, and you're fighting and beating the hell out of this guy, and you crack him 4 times in the head with a chair, odds are there's going to be blood. Well, you would think, right? It just adds to it. Like, oh my God, he's really hurt. You know what I mean? It pushes it over that limit.
So, and that's me going back to the Attitude Era and, you know, the blood that we got to see there.
Nobody bled like Triple H.
I think Ric Flair.
Okay, Ric Flair maybe.
Ric Flair's blood
before
was
we get
excessive.
Too far, though, I'd love to. Kev, what's your thoughts on this match? Like the outcome? Is there any? Do you see any other way this could go other than a Cody Rhodes win?
Well, the only thing that I was thinking it might be a possibility is if, you know how everyone always is saying that WWE is more than predictable. They can say what's going to happen here, what's going to happen there. The thing that where they dropped the ball to me, back when they announced Cody Rhodes was going to join the Royal Rumble in December. They didn't even give him a build up to it. They just said, oh, he's going to be there. Then he went in at 30. And then it's like, okay, so now for 6 months we're sitting here anticipating, okay, now they're building up to Cody Rhodes winning at WrestleMania.
Right.
Do they really, are they really going to do that to us? Be like, okay, now the whole fan base knows what's going to happen. Do we switch it up? Do we give Roman Reigns the chance to maybe actually win those titles back? And that's what I've been thinking of the past couple of days. It's like, this has been too focused on Cody Rhodes. Like, to me, it's like, is there the chance that Roman wins those titles and maybe goes for, you know, the third best record for holding those titles at 1,500?
So hear me out.
Oh,
hear me out. Usos and Sammy and KO fight, right?
Yeah.
Let's say KO and Sammy lose.
Okay.
Night 2, Sammy comes out, costs Cody the title. Roman and Sammy and the Bloodline get back together.
So I feel like that might have been a possibility when they first did the whole Sammy turn on Roman thing, until the fans just blew the roof off the place behind Sammy.
They definitely
did. The fans have made him such, like, for the first time in his career, they've made Sami Zayn matter.
Yeah. Very Daniel Bryan-ish.
Right? Exactly. I just don't know that there's any way you could turn him heel again and still keeping him matter. And I don't know that he could be in that group of people. Like, Solo is going to be a megastar. Like, it's going to happen. Maybe it's not for 3 years, maybe not 5 years, but the dude is going to be a star.
The title's on Roman's waist is going to be held by Solo, and I'm not sure how long it's going to take, but it's going to be sometime in the future.
And Roman's already the megastar. The Usos are already who they are. Like, it's hard to envision Sammy with that group and be able to have a prominent role. The fact that he did it the way he did it really is just a testament to his character and who he is as a performer, that he was able to steal scenes when he had a very bit role, and all of a sudden he was the guy people were talking about a week later.
It's kind of like what you said with Cody, like right place, right time, right? Like there was zero reason for this to work, right? There was no reason for a random promo of Sami Zayn going in the back to find Roman Reigns. Should have gotten to where it's at, but it did. And that's a complete testament to Sammy as a performer, to the rest of the bloodline, because they played their roles really well. It's a testament to Roman Reigns, whether people want to admit it or not, because Roman helped build this Sammy character just as much as Sammy helped build the bloodline. It's to this right now, and I could be prisoner of the moment. I think the bloodline is one of the best storylines WWE has ever told.
I'll take it a step farther, and I don't think you're a prisoner of the moment. I'll say the bloodline is one of the best stories professional wrestling has ever seen.
I think so too.
You know, we've talked about it before. It probably was last year's WrestleMania show. You take a guy like Roman Reigns, who was the babyface of babyfaces, and you bring him back as a heel. And when he started whatever town he was in, acknowledge me, and everything else, like, the dude just absolutely took something that nobody thought he could do, and maybe is one of the best to ever have done it. That character, that head of the table, I know, Ace, you and I have talked about this a lot together. That head of the table, tribal chief character is one of the best characters professional wrestling has ever seen.
And it's not just that character on the mic outside of the ring. He plays such a fantastic role heel during the matches.
Yeah. Right.
Like what he did with Sammy, right?
That was the best I've ever seen him
do, to yell at the guy's wife and say, I didn't want to beat up your husband.
Right.
He's making me do
I tried to give you nice things.
Right. I tried to get, like, just those little things is what makes the difference between a top heel in the company and a guy that, he's a heel. Like, Roman is reaching, like, Triple H type of heel status, or like, I don't even know another great heel.
No, it's really the two of them.
Right, like Triple H was Edge, maybe. I loved Edge as a heel too. I thought he was fantastic.
Yeah.
So can I segue here and say we got a comment here
in the stupid comment that we
in the chat from Brandon Hiller.
Comment.
Triple H is the most overrated of all time. I agree.
I know Brandon.
Whoa! Wait, did Tarbo just say he agrees?
I agree. I'm not a Triple H fan.
All right, now hold on. Court is in session here. Because I'm the judge, jury, and executioner of this situation. Hold on. There we go. Now the logo's up there.
Okay.
Brandon is only saying this because he knows it's going to get under my skin, and I'm going to have to say something because Triple H is my favorite performer.
Oh, do you know Brandon?
I do know Brandon.
Oh, okay.
I know.
I thought Brandon was like just a random idiot.
No.
And decided to find his keyboard.
He's a well thought out manipulator of the system over here on my
digress.
And I also knew Triple H was your favorite wrestler, Ace, so I was just
now. I will say this: I think the notion that Triple H buries people is outrageous. I think, has he buried people? Yes, all wrestlers do.
Every single
wrestler will bury somebody they don't want to put over if they're at the top. It's just the way it is. I think he's done more for wrestling as an entire whole than anything he was able to provide during his career, which was a fantastic career. And
beyond fantastic.
The boss's daughter, that's awesome. That's cool.
Right.
he had to make the game character work, whether people liked it or not, and it did. But I
do have to say, with the entire DX group and that vintage Triple H right there, that was like the character that I enjoyed the most when DX was at the forefront.
Yeah,
I think
I will say a testament to Triple H. One of my favorite wrestlers of all time is Shawn Michaels. He was one of my original favorites, and he just always has been. The single greatest part of DX and everything of that whole era is Triple H. Like, the dude just he's just the epitome of what you would look for in everything.
And I know Austin and The Rock, they got all this hype, right? Because yes, they were good too. But Triple H was the dude there when both those guys weren't there.
Well, and he did it all. Like, whatever he had to be for the company, that's what he was.
Yep.
He was the best heel, and then he was the best face, and then he would go back to the best heel like it was somebody drinking water.
Right.
Like, the dude just was seamless. Dude built
two of the top stars maybe ever in WWE, in Batista and Randy Orton.
Mm-hmm.
He set out to build a faction in Evolution to do just that, and that is exactly what happened. He could have put some other people in there, and it probably wouldn't have worked.
Right.
But he's seen those two guys. Hey, these are the two guys that I believe in, and he built those guys. Then he goes on to this NXT thing, and he builds more than half the roster that's in actively in the top of the company right now.
And a quarter of the other half that's not in the roster is main eventing somewhere else.
Right. Like he did that. So to say he's overrated, and I know he's
not Stone Cold Steve Austin, but he's pretty good.
He said it to get under my skin, and he did it. But that's okay. Now we can get back to Reigns and Rhodes and figure out who we think is going to win.
So can I throw a curveball in this Reigns and Rhodes match?
Throw it.
Absolutely.
I got to throw this out there, guys. They said that they saw Randy Orton in L.A. Do you think maybe he, comes out and makes a statement? I'm back.
I don't. I think Randy comes out and confronts whoever wins.
Got
it. I don't think he's going to have anything to do with the match. I think he's going to come out after the match.
What if he comes out
or the next night on Raw? Don't forget, Raw the next night is also in LA.
You're right. I could see that being
Randy Orton's like what, 40, 42, 43 years old? I
think he's like 42,
something like that.
Yeah, but he did make a recent
It's over for Randy Orton, right, guys? Like, he's never going to be a top tier.
That's
all Randy Orton
Triple H thing, right?
He's gonna win another title.
Randy Orton is just that. Randy Orton is Randy Orton. He's literally, if you were looking for the prototype professional wrestler, he was the guy.
He did the company thing and did the RK Bro thing.
Right.
And then they were about to do the Roman Randy Orton, and then unfortunately his back gave out on him.
Right.
See, I didn't like the RK Bro thing. That
they did it to try to push Riddle, and then Riddle shit all over himself. So that's why
they're seeing Riddle in LA too. So is that going to be a reunion? Because I hope not. I really hope not.
So they've said that the Raw after, like, Triple H is really focused on that tradition of the night after WrestleMania, that Raw being the best Raw of the year. And they said there's already a lot of surprises. Every year there's a couple call-ups that you didn't expect or that you did expect. You'll see some call-ups. I'm assuming Braun Breaker will be
one of them.
I'm assuming he's going to drop the title to Carmelo Hayes at Stand and Deliver, and then he'll be on the main roster come Monday. Cameron Grimes, they've been talking about. He's in shape. They're talking about him being the Monday after WrestleMania. Shinsuke Nakamura being some point
out of the
they said he'll be put some point after WrestleMania. Nobody said if it's the night after or further down the road. But
I read that they were going to try to build him back up.
Yeah, him. A lot of the Triple H guys. Him.
I heard Robert Roode might be coming out of the woodworks too.
Yeah, same thing. A lot of it's the really good in-ring workers that is no surprise that those guys Triple H, are Triple H guys. But as far as the Reigns and Rhodes, I don't think Randy gets involved. It's kind of a weird match because everybody says, even us here, we all say, okay, Rhodes is supposed to win this match, but you've got Solo. Then there's, well, does Solo help? Solo could help Roman. Solo could turn on Roman. The Usos could help Roman. They could turn on Roman.
Right. They lose the title.
Sami Zayn could help Roman. He could he could help Cody. All these different things. Like, there's so much outside stuff about this match too. And I feel like I feel like they tried to make it about Roman and Cody, but this is really about everything else too. Like, the bloodline has turned into this ticking time bomb that everybody's waiting to implode. And it kind of reminds me of, like, you know, the night after WrestleMania, what was it? WrestleMania 17, I think it was? Whatever it was, that Shawn Michaels broke his back. Yeah. And he fought Stone Cold Steve Austin. That night after at Raw, Triple H debuted the new DX.
Right.
You know, it kind of has that feel to it. Like, Roman, you said earlier, Roman is going to take this break. It's already been reported. It's not maybe, it's happening. And it's going to be a long break. It's going to be months. But how are they going to segue to that? Is it going to be somebody takes Roman out? Is it just going to be Roman just isn't around? Like, what is it? Somebody?
Sunday, I think he's just gonna. That's just how they're gonna have it go.
Does somebody turn on him and from his family, and that the heartbreak of it is what causes him to be gone? Like, it's just so much other stuff involved with this match. And I think that's part of why it's taken so long to build this match up.
Gotcha. No, I think this is going to be an interesting match. It's one that I'm actually excited to watch. Roman Reigns, as I got back into wrestling, I got to see Roman Reigns as a character. You guys touched on it perfectly. Just, he can really play a heel now, and I didn't see him early on in his career to know, kind of before he made the turn, what his persona was. But you see head of the table everywhere. I mean, the merchandise, the shirts, the branding, it's all over. Vince has got the We the Ones on right now. Like, at the end of the day, I think the impact that this match is going to have on the future, I don't want to say for the WWE as a whole, but the future of these organizations, as you alluded to, is going to be huge. So,
right.
How do they play this out and make it end the correct way?
And that thing is, there's so much that's going to open up after this match, right?
Yeah.
They're going to have one title, and then they're going to get a second title back, because that's been rumored so much. It's almost impossible.
They say by SummerSlam they'll
right,
be back to
there's
split
going to be
titles.
2 titles again, which is good, because then you open up the door.
And they say that it's going to be a new title.
Yeah, I was saying.
Oh, really?
Triple H has already approved the design of the new title.
Really?
And that he's going to be retiring the Universal title.
Yep.
I heard that it was supposed to be the big gold belt coming back.
So my personal opinion, what I think is going to happen, I think the first thing is that Universal title will be retired. The big gold World Heavyweight Championship will be brought back to replace the whichever title, and then the Universal title, and then the other title will also go away, and the new title will take that place. I think you'll have the big gold World Heavyweight Championship, and you'll have the undisputed WWE title, or whatever they call it. I think those will be the 2 titles you have. And I think both of the ones Roman has right now neither will exist anymore.
I agree.
Interesting. And I'm a big fan of the big gold title. Like, why not?
I love it. It's great.
It is a good title.
What were you going to say, Ace? Go ahead.
I don't remember now. I got distracted by the person randomly trying to come into the green room, which is odd to me. But anyways.
All right, guys,
okay. I remember now.
Before we wrap this show up,
I was just going to ask you guys who you see winning this match. Who?
I mean, I'll go first. I think Cody.
I think we all think Cody, and speak up, guys, if it's different. But
I just want to be the oddball in this one and say Roman. But
boom, there it is. I knew somebody was going to.
I have to say it. I don't know. I don't like the buildup. I don't like.
I mean, it would be very WWE-esque to put all this about Cody winning at WrestleMania and then have him finally win the title at like SummerSlam or something.
That's what I was thinking. Exactly.
Yeah,
that.
like
It would build up to SummerSlam eventually.
Gotcha.
So
It would be interesting to see.
it all depends. Like if Roman's going to be, because if they do that, then Roman's got to be here through SummerSlam
Right.
versus
And
taking
that's
his
the
break
thing.
and coming back at SummerSlam.
Right.
Either they got to offer him some money that he doesn't want to turn down, or
Right.
and put off his hiatus that he wants to do, or he
And even then, like, I don't even know if it's worth it for WWE to do that because now you're going to give him all this money. He's going to take that break at some point. Like, he needs it. I mean, he deserves it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been carrying the title for over 1,000 days. Like,
Right.
You know what? Just talking about Bloodline, Roman Reigns, and all that stuff is just to me. It would be crazy is if there ended up being like a Bloodline 2.0, and Sammy builds in like the Usos with him and KO after they take the titles off him, somehow gets them over there. Then you see Sammy being the next Roman. KO is his right hand man, like Jey Uso was to Roman.
I almost feel like, and I know this is probably more Ace and Kev. You guys will know what I'm talking about more than Tarble, but like WWE, sometimes they go into these things and they're like, we know where we want to go, but we don't know how to get there.
Yep.
I feel like this is one of those things, like, there's been so many, like, exits along the way. Like, if you think of the highway, there's so many exits along the way where something could jump in and, like, alter the outcome of this match. And you see, like, when Jay turned on Sami Zayn, there was that hesitation before where it looks like he says something to Sami Zayn in his ear. Then there's are the Usos really against Sami Zayn, or are they just kind of setting up Roman? Then it's, what about Solo Sikoa? We saw him get, an earful from Roman Reigns where he stopped him from going after Cody Rhodes. The Solo kind of finally find his voice and go on his own. There's just what's with the Usos? What about Jey Uso? What about Jimmy Uso? Jimmy started a rant about I'll never forgive. Pause and then said Sami Zayn. But Roman looked at him like, are you talking about me?
Yep.
You had the Jey Uso where he told Jay he loved him and Jay just stood up and left. Like, there's so many outliers to this whole thing that you could convince me that this match will end with a Roman Reigns win leading towards eventual Cody Rhodes win at SummerSlam.
I agree.
So before we leave for the night, guys, I want to end the show as I believe we did last year. Favorite WrestleMania moment ever.
Ever, huh?
And let's let Kev start this off, because
I think we already discussed it a little bit last night with the two of you. I mean, he
Yep.
wasn't here, but that moment with Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit, man, when we were kids, I remember me and my brothers sitting in the room, and all of us were Benoit and Eddie fans, and both of us, I remember throwing crippler cross faces on my brothers when we were kids, and we all cheered for them. And the night that they both won the titles and they shared that moment in the ring, and confetti fell and all of that, and it was a big moment for us, like childhood memory.
Gotcha. I like it.
Turtle,
Ace?
what about you?
I don't know.
If I had to pick one,
Damn it, I don't know.
If I had to pick one, I'd probably say Shawn Michaels, Undertaker 2.
You stole the
retirement
moment
match.
that I was going to say.
I mean, I just think that was just an overall good match, but yeah, that's a tricky one. You got The Rock and Hogan when they fought at WrestleMania was a pretty big deal. Batista versus Undertaker was a good match. There's a lot, man. WrestleMania has been.
I mean, like,
minute.
for me, I don't know, it goes back a while, but I think the Shawn Michaels Bret Hart Iron Man match
Yeah, that's a good one.
was a really good match.
The ladder match him and Razor had.
Yeah.
I mean, that put ladder matches on the front page for WWE, you know what I mean?
And honestly, like, even going into this WrestleMania, like, for me, I think going forward, it's not a moment that's happened yet, but in my mind, a guy I'm excited about that I think at some point in his career will have a huge WrestleMania moment is Montez Ford. I think, obviously we don't know what it'll be, but like I think at some point in his career he's going to have a huge WrestleMania moment too.
And they've been talking for quite some time now, splitting up the Street Profits. So.
Yeah, they talking about splitting them up. They've been talking about a new version of the Hurt Business with Mellow Hayes and Street Profits and different things. Like, I just think every time he got not many opportunities to get to showcase, and he did at Elimination Chamber, and I think he stole the show.
I agree. He's been over the past several weeks, months, whatever it is, stealing the show just on Raw in general.
Yeah.
Like
he's somebody I could see winning the Money in the Bank.
Mm-hmm.
His push it should have already happened if you ask me, but
it's coming
sooner rather than later.
All right, guys. So it's been fun to have you here tonight with us, chatting about WrestleMania. We'll have some more details to come about.
We have to do a recap
shows. Definitely open to getting out there and doing a recap.
Tuesday night we could do a Turtles Take recap show.
I got nowhere to be but in front of the Turtle Takes fans. So
that's what I mean. That sounds like a recap
Also
Turtle Take.
Gives everybody a chance to watch Raw too.
If y'all ain't got nowhere to be, I say that's what we do. We chalk this shit up on Tuesday.
I like the idea.
Let's do it.
Turtles Takes presents WrestleMania recap.
Yeah, I like
it. I dig it.
All right, guys. With that being said, we appreciate each and every one of you for joining us this evening. WrestleMania starts tomorrow. It should be an exciting couple days of wrestling. If you have not done so already, please be sure to go like, subscribe, and follow the Undefeated Sports Network. I've got some other stuff on my mind. The Undefeated Sports Network on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube.
Go follow Turtles Take on Twitter.
Go follow Vince on Twitter.
Followers.
I'll tell you right now.
You got to pump them numbers up. Those are rookie numbers.
Nobody signs out of a show like Tarbill. This dude is born for it, and I love it. All
right, guys. With that being said, thank you to our loyal fan base for listening tonight. We will see you back right here Tuesday night on the Undefeated Sports Network. Thank you for joining us. Have a good night, everybody.